Hey everybody, man, I'm glad I'm back on my YouTube video. I'm gonna be getting back blogging again. I've been off a lot of things, so I'm done with the spring semester. Apparently I didn't do very well in school, but I can get back there for the fall semester. Brief things: I'll be moving to Miami, Florida. So I was in Los Angeles, California. If you see my bike back there, yes, that is my bike. And I can get you a better view. Yeah, I got a damaged laptop, but hey, things that could get fixed, or I can fix that. So yes, back to my video. What I want to talk about is Monday Night Raw. I was excited to hear the review from the wrestling gurus and Deuce and people still making videos. And I don't know if I can call it the YWC anymore. I know a lot of people have disappeared from YouTube for a while, so that's what's going on. But but I'm here though, so let's talk about that. Well, what I want to talk about is the Stephanie McMahon promo. I thought the promo was great. Stephanie McMahon, who put on a great promo, and I feel like, is it going to be an obvious heel turn? They're expected to boo, apparently, so it's like Vince McMahon, who came out and said, "You're not supposed to be booing my daughter, you're supposed to be cheering." Is this, I don't know where they're going with this, but I'm hoping it's not an obvious heel turn, because Stephanie was like, "Oh, you can't be selfish, we don't want him to get hurt," even though he was cleared to compete despite that. And I didn't notice, despite she was cleared to compete, so I didn't really catch that until they recapped it. Oh, this is what happened earlier tonight, so that's when I started to catch, despite that he was clear to compete, they didn't want Triple H to compete, and it looked like a real dilemma, because Triple H seemed really pissed off, and I'm really surprised, like, why is he competing on Raw? Why isn't he becoming a pay-per-view guy like The Rock? I'm surprised he's starting to, it started to sound like he wants to wrestle full-time, even though he's a corporate guy, so, I kind of like, I don't know where they're going with this, but it looks like more serious, especially with Stephanie McMahon saying Paul, as his name is Paul Levesque, so they're saying his real name. They're trying to put some real elements into it, and that's what I kind of noticed. It looks like a real issue, and they transitioned it to television, because now they're executives. So it's kind of like different than like the Stephanie McMahon Helmsley, the Helmsley McMahon era, because I noticed that Helmsley, they were like, just Triple H was just a full-time competitor, and Stephanie McMahon was just, as his sidekick. So, well, his wife, well, his TV wife, but now it's his real-life wife. So I thought that was a smooth transition, because now they are actually married, and it's been all over television, and I didn't even notice. It was on talk shows too, so that's what I also find out. So that's what I got with that. So they actually got married in real life, and they actually now saying, because the divorce storyline they had in 2002 dropped 7 years after that whole storyline happened. And 2009, it started to seem like they became an actual couple after Stephanie McMahon's feud with Randy Orton. So in his group, The Legacy. So that's when they put that element to television. And she also said, she's a wife and the mother of her 3 daughters, so she practically said, I'm doing this decision because we don't want Triple H to get hurt. And then Triple H got mad and decided to throw his stuff out and said, tell that old bastard that I want to compete next week, because Vince McMahon is saying he's never going to compete. And apparently it's an unfortunate as it sounds. He really wants to compete, but Vince McMahon is still restraining that to happen. They got to push it till Payback. So Triple H needs to wrestle in a pay-per-view. He can't keep wrestling on cable TV. I'm sorry, this shouldn't happen. He needs to wrestle on a pay-per-view. He seems like a pay-per-view part-time wrestler. That's what I have to say to that. Or he should just wrestle at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar, that's it. But it sounds like he's starting to wrestle on the regular. That's what I have to say to that. So, I'm not going to talk much about the match, about the matches really, but, we have some good matches. Usos and primetime players. I haven't seen the Usos on TV in a while. Good to see some twin boys on television, because we see too much Bella twins, they're the twins, but we have another pair of twins on television, the Usos, and they have been phenomenal. They're like really exciting to watch, and their match against primetime players have been good. They've been going at it on NXT for a while, but it was awesome they have it on Raw. So I've been seeing that happen on NXT, and to see it on Raw, which was kind of good. So it looked like they're bringing spice into the tag division. I think it's very good, so that's something it seems to expect. Next match I want to talk about was Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, and Kane. Randy Orton and Team Hell No versus The Shield. I thought the match was good. How the match ended with Randy Orton accidentally pushing into Daniel Bryan. It looked like The Shield were going to suffer their first loss. But it looked like The Shield are going to keep their winning streak going. They did have one loss in the singles match with Seth Rollins getting pinned by Kane. And Daniel Bryan getting frustrated, like, oh, I'm the weak link, I'm the weak link. It looked like it's getting kind of annoying, but it looked like in the match, it looked like they're sending messages with. But I'm glad they didn't do the cliche in-ring thing, like after the post-match in-ring segment where, oh, they get all frustrated with each other. They took it backstage, which I think was kind of smooth, though, that they took the segment backstage, and Daniel Bryan said, you know what, I'm going to have another match against Ryback. I didn't think he was going to beat Ryback, but I thought it could happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen at the same time, because apparently Ryback is going into the main event of Payback, and, you know, it would be crazy if he gets pinned during his build-up. So Ryback looked like this unstoppable heel monster. I don't know if I can say, oh, he's the Bill Goldberg, because Bill Goldberg was undefeated in WCW, and he was on this run. Goldberg was a phenomenon. So, as much as I can say to that is, you know, Ryback is starting to become the original Ryback. He's starting to seem more original as a heel from what I've been hearing, but I don't know, as I look at it, he's becoming a whole different person. I don't know if you can still call him Goldberg, because I don't know if Goldberg was ever a heel. That's what I gotta say to that. But Ryback, they're trying to make him more original, but for him to lose matches, he seemed kind of mortal, but I don't know, they kind of rushed him into the main event because of John Cena's injury, and we didn't see CM Punk dropping the title every time soon because of his title run, so that's what I gotta say to that. But he was winning matches on Raw, and that's what I gotta say to that, except until The Shield stepped into the scene, so that's what I gotta say to that. So after that, we have... after that, we eventually had the Bella Twins and AJ versus Caitlyn and the Funkadactyls. The Bella Twins and the Funkadactyls have been feuding for a while, but Natalya kind of hopped into the mix where she got humiliated in her hometown, Canada. I felt that was pretty unacceptable. Why are they gonna have the Bella Twins completely humiliate Natalya in her hometown? That was complete garbage right there, because Natalya should have won apparently because it's her hometown. So. It was kind of, and it was her birthday too, so that was like pretty unacceptable to me. I don't know how everyone else felt, but that's just from what I see. But I don't know where they're going with this, and Natalya hasn't been seen after that. It's like she should have been in the match with the Bella Twins, but because Caitlyn, the Funkadactyls, you know, and AJ the Bellas kind of like have more into the mix, it's like Natalya should have got back and had some retaliation. So I'm pretty disappointed with that. So. I'm hoping, I don't know if Natalya and Oksana are going to become a tag team, but I don't know if that's going to happen, but we have AJ and the Bellas Twins in the mix. Ever since Eve bounced from WWE and quit and focused on her jiu-jitsu stuff, so Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, AJ kind of, you know, is probably going to step in as the leading heel for the Divas, and Caitlyn the babyface. We got to see a title match happen, because Michael Cole's been hinting, like, the way Michael's saying, oh, this time around, AJ's the number one contender, he's going to feud with the Divas. I'm thinking of it as like, when's it going to happen? Why the hell do we not have a match? Why we have this concussion crap? Like, oh, AJ's using it as an excuse, see as a babyface, because that's what heels do. I don't know why they're saying, oh, you know, we're using it as an excuse, like, oh, my boyfriend or this team is hurt, so I can't compete. Where it could have been like, oh, she's going to compete and dedicate this to him, so, to whoever's hurt or something like that. That's what Bo Ray did for Diva, but I was during the draft with this thing. Oh, how are they going to do a singles competition? That's what happened. But for the most part, I'm thinking the match got to happen at Payback or SummerSlam. So they got to put it on a bigger pay-per-view if they're going to keep holding it. But it's got to happen. The segments are starting to become useless. I didn't think the AJ Caitlyn Extreme Rules segment was any big of a deal. It was just them going at it. It's like, alright, when's the match going to happen? So, it was useless stuff. But, I mean, it was like, alright, they need a match. And AJ needs to become Divas Champion to build to Ziggler and AJ become this power couple. If Big E becomes Intercontinental Champion, there'll be a powerful big three, but it should be just AJ and Ziggler. I'm sorry, but Big E kind of just got thrown into the scene by AJ, so that's what I got to say to that. The Jericho Punk signing, it looked like Paul Heyman's kind of like becoming the voice for CM Punk because CM Punk is absent. Is he going to come at Payback, or is he gonna appear next week before Payback happens? I'm thinking CM Punk is gonna cheap shot Jericho from behind or something and humiliate Jericho. And I like how sorry to throw the name in there, but how the Wrestling Gurus brought up, oh, you know, now it's the role switch, because last year when Jericho was the one humiliating Punk, when Punk was a face and Jericho a heel, it's going to be the other way around. Jericho's face and Punk's a heel. I even noticed that too, which I think is going to be awesome that they're going to continue feuding and switching roles. We saw that with Punk and Orton, when Orton was a heel and Punk a face, and now, almost 3 years later, because Unforgiving 2008, Punk got punted into the head by Orton. And that's when I was occasionally watching wrestling, because I was living with my brother, and I also had school going on, so, well, I was in high school during the time, but yeah, I was occasionally watching wrestling, and then Punk got nailed in the head by Orton, and then Orton's like, hey, you know, you cost me my world title when you humiliated me at Unforgiven, and then Punk had his alliance, and then Randy Orton was kind of by himself, so that's how the roles switched, and I thought that was cool. So Punk and Jericho, I think, going to go at it. Jericho didn't really have an alliance as a heel, but Punk does with his Paul Heyman guy, with the Paul Heyman, because he's a Paul Heyman guy. So it looks like there's going to be more elements, especially Paul Heyman being confronted by Chris Jericho. So I can't wait to see where it goes to that. So that's going to be kind of smooth. The Fandango and Great Khali, I was kind of disappointed. Fandango just waltzes away from the match, and I've been seeing that too much. It's like the heels always just walk out of the match, which I don't really mind because it's cable TV, but why do we have to see that too much? Why can't we see Fandango pull an upset win like he did to the Great Khali during the dance-off, and when he nailed down the Great Khali? Great Khali is not as powerful as when he started in 2006, when he beat The Undertaker in his first match. When he was managed by Kajou Davari, he nailed The Undertaker, and he beat him. That's when I found out, and Davari, I heard, was excited about the match. He seemed very ecstatic, and then that's when Great Khali, because as a heel, he was more powerful, but as a face, he's becoming more of, alright, it's like, it has to be a real achievement when you first beat him, but now it's like, when you beat him, it's like, it's no big deal, because he's not the main eventer as he used to, but it's like, it's the same thing with Natalya. Natalya's not as powerful as she started, but we're going to see, hopefully, different things happen, because they could have been this literal power couple, as much as I could say, but it's like, they look like this no big deal, apparently. That's what I got to say to that. And, Alberto Del Rio and Big E, I thought it was a good, phenomenal match, but of course Del Rio's going to pick up the victory, because he needs the momentum into facing Dolph Ziggler at Payback, but I'm hoping Dolph Ziggler wins, and then he can jump to his feud with Jack Swagger, because Jack Swagger was the one who gave him a concussion, so I'm like, every time I hear that from Michael Cole, it's like, alright, you know, Jack Swagger gave him the concussion, but it's like, he's just going to come back and still be that same heel. He's going to pretend like, oh, none of this happened, where he could have feuded with Swagger and continue getting into the mix, but why does it have to be a one-on-one match? It's like, that's where I felt like the concussion kind of wrecked everything, but hey, we didn't expect it to happen, so what else to expect, apparently. So that's what I got to say to that. The main event, you know, Triple H's replacement was John Cena. He faced Kurt Axel again. It was a no disqualification match, but why the heck is there a count-out match? I feel like it makes sense because, you know, you can have Ryback interfere again and completely nail out John Cena. That's what happened at the end. And practically Ryback taunted John Cena at the end, saying, oh, Ryback rules. And, you know, that's what I saw. And then it went to the show ended with Ryback saying, oh, Ryback rules. And he threw John Cena straight through a table, which I was surprised about. Paul Heyman was originally interfering in the match, but eventually got scared off by John Cena. And he was about to finish off Curtis Axel, and then Ryback came into the scene, which I thought was cool. And then Ryback drove John Cena through a table. So I felt like that was awesome. Awesome way to end the night with Ryback continuing this momentum. But I wish they did that the Monday before Payback to make it look like, alright, is Ryback going to win? Because it looks like he has a lot of momentum. And that's where I would have started off there. But I feel like they did this too soon. So hopefully they do this again on Monday to say, oh, Ryback has a lot of momentum to winning that World Heavyweight title. So I'm trying to be like, alright, Ryback does have a chance. But people say, oh, John Cena's going to win 3 stages of hell. They're saying, oh, it's obvious. Well, I wouldn't be too obvious about that. You never know what can happen. Ryback can still pull a surprising upset. That's what I got to say to that. So that's my video. Hope it's not too long. And I'll upload another video in a few moments. So peace out.